This kid rode his bike to a grocery store. Yeah. He's using some of his summer job paycheck money to buy some snacks, chips, and sweets. He buys them, goes outside, and sets down the bag while he's unlocking his bike. Yeah, set you right here, unlock the bike. When he unlocks his bike and looks around, the bag is missing. What is it? That's when he sees this kid, younger than him, stuffing the stuff in his backpack. The kid runs home. Yo, what the heck? That's it, I'm gonna follow him. He takes his bike and follows this kid to his house. Knocks on the door. The mom answers. Yes? He stays calm. Yeah, your son took my stuff. I got some groceries and some snacks. I saw him put it in his backpack and run away. I just want it back. My kid would never steal. I saw him do it. If you don't leave my house right now, I'm calling the police because of harassment. Well, he doesn't leave. They call the police, and 5 minutes later, the cops show up. They hear both sides. They then say, "Kid, open your backpack, please." Okay. And there the stuff was. Chips, sweets, everything. Yeah. Give it back, please. Give him the stuff bag. Cops leave, the mom shuts the door in this kid's face, and they go their separate ways. But that's so embarrassing for that mom. That kid didn't learn anything, because a couple days later, he went to the guy's house that he stole stuff from, and he threw eggs at it. What a little jerk. He pre-ordered a cake for his mom's birthday. Okay, I'll pick it up soon. It was a custom order. He walks into the bakery, gives the pickup name, Carlos. Okay, I have your cake right here. Then a woman steps closer to him. Hi, that's a really nice cake. It is, right? Can I have it? No, sorry, it's a custom-made cake. But custom-made cakes take so long. I want yours. The guy just turns his back to walk away, but this woman turns him around. Okay. No, don't walk away from me. Excuse me? Give me that cake right now. Absolutely not. It's my mom's birthday cake. Well, me and my kid want it more than your mom. This guy sees the kid buyer and looks at him. Leave me honest. The kid doesn't even care. The worker comes over. Hey, what's going on in here? I want that cake. The worker says no, so this woman tackles the guy. Hey man, run! Take your cake and get out of here! The guy then escapes the shop with the cake, while this woman and the worker are fighting on the floor. The cops were called, and that woman was arrested. But seriously, who crashes out that hard over a cake? Doesn't make any sense to me. She's nuts. So a subscriber sent in this story. This one comes from an 8th grader in Missouri who had a teacher. We'll call this teacher Mrs. K. Now, at the end of the school day, most teachers were fine with students having their phones out. Cause, it's the end of the day. It's chill time. But not Mrs. K. Mrs. K had this insane rule. If she caught you with your phone out, she would call your parents. She would then lie about why you had to stay after school, and then she would lock you in a closet. That's real. So one day, it's the end of the day, and this 8th grader gets a text from their mom. They check it really quick, and boom, Mrs. K sees it. Phone now. She snatches this kid's phone, and in front of the entire class, she calls this kid's parents. Hi, this is your kid's teacher. I'm calling to inform you that your child is failing my class. I highly suggest your kid stays after school today with me while I help them study for the upcoming test. Well, I'll have your kid call you when we're done. Bye-bye. So school ends and this kid heads to Mrs. K's classroom, hoping for the best, hoping Mrs. K is not going to be too hard on them. But that's not what happened. Mrs. K just said, since you were on your phone, you're getting in the closet. She locks this kid in the closet, and the kid's just sitting there scared, crying all by themselves. But here is where the whole thing turns around. When that kid got home, they told their parents what had happened. They called the school immediately. The next day, they went into the school to speak with the principal. And shortly after that, Mrs. K was fired. And honestly, she definitely deserved it. This dude had a super weird experience at a friend's house. This kid said he used to hang out at a friend's place after school. Nice house, quiet neighborhood, totally normal. But every time he walked in that house, the mom would always say the exact same thing. Shoes off, kids, and don't touch the walls. Now at first, this kid thought that this lady was just a clean freak. Until one day, when he leaned on a wall, barely. She came around the corner instantly, like she'd been watching. She didn't yell, she didn't get mad, she just handed him a paper towel and pointed at the spot. Wipe it until it's gone, please. The weird part? There was nothing on the wall. No smudge, no print, no mark, but he just wiped it anyway. What is going on? Later that night, he asked his friend what that was all about. Yo, what was that all about? His friend just said, she thinks that walls remember everything. Like if you touch a wall or lean on it, you leave a piece of yourself behind. Your mom's nuts. Whatever, he went home and he just tried to forget about that weird moment, but a week later, he heard that his friend's house had been repainted, the entire interior. When he asked his friend what the reason was, his friend replied, "My mom said too many people touched the walls, so she repainted it to give the house a fresh start." Bro, what? That mom might need a little help, okay? A subscriber's 5th grade story. So this one comes from a subscriber who said, back in 5th grade, his homeroom teacher was just completely mean, always mad about something. Well, one day in class, his friend made a funny face at him, and he giggled. That's it. Just a giggle, no big deal, right? Well, when he got home that day, his parents were furious. They said that the teacher had emailed them, saying that he was laying on the ground laughing at the teacher, making fun of her, and mocking her, which never happened. He tried to explain, "That's not what happened, I was just giggling at my friend." And his parents didn't believe him. And this didn't just happen once. It happened again and again and again. Each time the teacher would exaggerate a straight up lie in these emails home. Eventually his parents started to notice that something was off, and they brought it up to the principal. But the teacher didn't stop. One day she gave him 2 detentions back to back. And during one of those detentions, she walked into the room and said to his face, "You know something? You should really stop doing sports because you're obviously never gonna make it anywhere. You should just focus on your schoolwork and maybe you won't end up in detention. Okay? Have a good one." Bro. Once his parents found out that she said that, they told the principal. Once the principal found out that she said that, she was done. She got fired. Good riddance. His friend's house had the weirdest rule ever. This dude said when he was younger, he was spending the weekend at one of his friend's house. They were in the kitchen getting snacks when his friend casually said, "Hey bro, don't eat the last chip." He grabbed the chip bag that his friend was talking about. He opened it and looked inside. There was literally 1 chip left in this bag. 1 chip. Why not? Because the last chip is for the house. What? He laughed. He thought he was joking and he popped that chip in his mouth. He ate it. Okay. A few moments later, the mom walked into the kitchen and saw that the last chip had been eaten from this chip bag. Who finished it? There was only 1 chip left. She just stared at him. That doesn't matter. The last chip is for the house. Always. He figured it was just a weird moment. Him and his friend went about their night. They were playing video games, just chilling. The next morning, this kid goes looking for some cereal in a cabinet, and that's when he saw it. Dozens of snack bags, all of them open, each with exactly 1 chip left. At this point, he was like, what is going on with this family? Bro, what is this? That's the house's cabinet, and those are the house's chips. Did you not listen to my mom yesterday? Bro, what? At that point, this kid was just hungry. He called his mom, and she came to pick him up. What is with these weird families, man? Hey, you coming to gym class? Nah, man, I got court. Wait, what? This kid, 7th grade, shows up to school one day in a full-blown suit. Tie, dress shoes, everything. He's carrying a briefcase. Everyone's confused, and he just goes, I got court during gym class today. Turns out, this kid started a full-blown student court system. He printed a summons, he made a self-made courtroom in the corner of the library, and he even made a logo. Every charge was student-related. Chewing annoyingly with your mouth open, cutting the lunch line, stealing pencils, and you could plead guilty or go to trial. State your case. She skipped me in line. Do you have any witnesses? Yes, Your Honor, 5 of them. People start requesting trials for dumb stuff. The teachers hear about it, and they think it's absolutely hilarious. Until one day, this kid was messing around and tried to summon the principal to court. For what? For having a terrible haircut. Yeah, the principal didn't take this very well, and he obviously shut it down right then and there. In total, this kid held 17 court cases. I don't know where he got out of all this, but it's honestly genius. Miss, how are we supposed to know when it's due? You just are, okay? This one teacher was brutal. She wouldn't post due dates for anything. She wouldn't write instructions. She would just say it once out loud and expect you to remember everything. And if you didn't hear it or you missed the information, that sounds like a you problem, doesn't it? One day, she assigns a huge project. She explains it once, she talks fast, there's no visual, no handout. This one kid, he raises his hand. Wait, how are we supposed to, Josh, were you listening? Yeah, but then why are you asking? No one knows when it's due, what it's supposed to look like, it's total confusion. One person thinks he remembers the due date, one person remembers it differently. It's a mess. And from that moment on, Josh decides he's going to record everything this teacher says every single day, without her knowing. 2 weeks later, half the class gets zeros on this other project. There's no excuse for this, you guys. I told you exactly how I wanted it. Josh raises his hand. Actually, you didn't. Excuse me? He takes out his phone, fiddles with his recordings for a second, and then he presses play. It was her whole explanation for this project. It was loud, it didn't make any sense, and she was mumbling for half of it. So basically, it's gonna go on a big piece of paper or, like one of those things, and then you're gonna make sure that you get everything down from the chapter, I think it was 9. Maybe it's 11, but put it all up. Hey, guys, quiet. All right, that's it. Let's move on. So are we all really getting zeros, or are you going to give us the instructions again? The next day, she handed out a printed rubric for that project, and she gave everyone a second chance to do it. And from that day forward, she always had printed out instructions for every single assignment and project. Yeah, as she should. As your president, I will eat this banana. So this kid, let's call him Luke. He's in 8th grade, 0 political ambition, and 0 cares about school elections. One day after gym, his friend is like, bro, you should run for class president. Why? I don't know, because nobody else is. Turns out, sign-ups were closing that day, and nobody else decided to run. So Luke being Luke, he goes to the front office and he puts his name down. The next day, the announcements come on. Class elections this Friday, we have Luke, just Luke is running for president. And everyone just starts clowning this whole situation. People are making campaign posters. Vote for Luke. Or don't. It doesn't matter. He'll still win. Or Luke 2024. Bare minimum effort. And he's leaning into it. He's wearing a wrinkled suit jacket to school. Making campaign videos of him eating Lunchables in silence. Well, finally election day hits. And obviously Luke is elected to be the class president. And there's a little assembly at the end of the day. Well, Luke walks up to give a victory speech. He walks up to the mic. He's holding a banana like it's a trophy, peels it halfway, and he just starts eating it into the mic. The whole cafeteria is losing it. Even the teachers are laughing. The principal's standing there, just trying to act like this is normal. Okay. And just like that, Luke is the official class president. He doesn't even know what his frickin' duties are. Well, the next week, the school council handed him a binder that said, School Student Government Responsibilities. And it was thick, like 3 inches thick. Meetings, proposals, school fundraiser events. Luke just looked at it, and that's when it hit him. He definitely made a massive mistake. This is everything. God. Shh. Hey, yo, what's your name? Why? Just answer the question, man. So at this one high school, there's this senior named Jordan, and he's not just popular, he's influential. Like, if he were to wear pajama pants to school one day, the next day, half the school would also be wearing pajama pants. If he calls you something in the hallway, people would hear it, and that's your name now. And he knows that. Hey, your name? Emily? Cool, that'll be $5. What? You can pay me $5, or I pick something else. You'll pick a different name for me, like what? You don't want to find out. At first, people think he's joking, until one poor kid refuses to pay, and is known as Meat Wallet for the rest of the semester. Even the sub called him that one day. After that, everyone started paying. Yo, did you get a name yet? Yeah, I paid him yesterday. I'm Connor now. But your name is Connor. Exactly. Thank God I paid him. By homecoming, he made over $200. One kid's name is still Pockets, and no one knows why. This was a pretty small town school, so that's probably why something like this was flying around. But in the end, he wasn't just selling names. He was selling protection from pure humiliation. Weird hustle, but I respect it. Head up, do you have your nap slip? My what? So this school had a rule. You were not allowed to put your head down on a desk unless your parents signed a literal nap permission form. Like it was a frickin' field trip or something. So this is the type of stuff that would happen. Like one day, this kid named Noah, he got himself a pretty bad headache. He's not faking it, he's not being dramatic, he's just tired and his head is pounding. He lowers his head on his arms for like 2 seconds and the teacher is on him. Hey, head up unless you have the slip. You're kidding me, right? Nope, it's a classroom policy. And for that day, she marked him down as non-participating, and he got a bunch of points taken off. Well, his grade drops, and he's pretty upset by this. This teacher's pretty stubborn, so he's trying to figure out ways to beat her, but he decides ultimately to just follow the rules. He was gonna follow the rules in an awesome way. He went home to his parents. He had his parents create him a nap participation slip. The slip was laminated and it had a lanyard around it. So he comes back with that signed, laminated, customizable nap permission slip. Boom, miss, certified. for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year, whenever he wanted to put his head down or he wasn't feeling too well, he would just pull out a slip and slam it on the desk. Okay. I got clearance, miss. Super weird rule, super weird teacher, but I guess that kid's a legend. I don't know. Yo, did they lock the vending machine? Yeah, after what happened to Steven. What happened to Steven? So this kid Steven, 7th grader, he's got a total sweet tooth. Well, one day during lunch, he brings like $15 in change, dumps it in the vending machine, and he goes to town. 6 honey buns, 2 Pop-Tarts, and a pack of powdered donuts. Back to back to back to frickin' back. Now, a teacher walks by and says, "Hey, that's a lot of sugar, buddy." It's my money and it's my stomach. 2 periods later, Steven is in PE and he's running laps when suddenly he stops dead in his tracks. Hands on knees, face pale, and then he pukes everywhere. Like a full cinnamon glaze explosion all over the gym floor. Janitor shows up unfazed because, of course, janitors are freaking awesome. Well, after that, the principal has a full-on panic attack. The school blames the vending machines. The next morning, padlocks are on both machines, all the snacks have been taken out, and there's a sign there. Until further notice, snacks are suspended. Now kids are furious with Steven, like he's a freaking honey bun villain. Every time Steven walks down the hallway. "Thanks a lot, Steven. Really could have used a Pop-Tart today, man. Screw you." Tried to apologize, but it was too late. Once the snacks had gone, there was no coming back. Poor kid. She told him to wash the car, and she gave him a bucket and a sponge. You should be all set. "All right, I'm on it, Mom." So he goes outside with the bucket and the sponge. He sets the bucket right next to the car. "I'm gonna put you right here." Then he goes to the side of the house and grabs the hose. Okay, got the hose. And he begins dragging the hose over to the bucket by the car. All right. But the hose is not long enough. It doesn't reach. Great. So, he turns on the water. Fill this bucket up, but how am I gonna do it? Just gonna launch it from here. And he begins spraying the hose and trying to arch it into this water bucket. Come on. But the bucket keeps tipping over. Come on. Not again. He adjusts his stance, he changes the angle of the hose, he's trying to find the best way to fill this bucket, but this kid didn't realize that he could just take the bucket and bring it to the hose and then bring the bucket back to the car. Like, at no point does that enter his brain. His mom's watching him through the window. I raised an idiot. I mean, yeah, kinda. This kid didn't talk until he was 5, and when he finally did start talking, he barely said anything. His vocabulary was only like 20 words, and he only talked when he was spoken to. And everyone already thought he was the weird kid. Well, one day, this kid is sitting outside of his house when his 10-year-old neighbor walks by. And the 10-year-old neighbor is a legit genius. He actually ends up graduating high school at 12 years old. But he walks up to this 5-year-old who barely talks, and he says to him, "The answer to every question is observing." First of all, I have no idea what the heck that means, but the kid listened. Oh. He takes it very seriously and very literally. From that day on, every single question he gets asked gets the same answer. "Okay, you. What is 2 times 2? Observing." "What do you want for dinner, son?" "Observing." "Okay, and how are you feeling today?" "Observing." At this point, people are freaking out. People made meetings, there was counselors and therapists involved. For almost an entire year, the only thing that this kid would say is observing. Eventually, after a few years of therapy, he began talking like a normal person. But hey, that's kind of hilarious. There was a school in Florida that tried to monetize the bathroom. It's so messed up. They gave every student 3 restroom credits a month. And if you ran out, each additional restroom credit was $5 each. This is insane. The principal called it time management training, which didn't make any sense. It's more like a human rights violation. Well, that's when a student named Marcus, what's up, realized that the school just created the most valuable currency on campus. Okay, I got 2 credits left. I'll trade them for your pre-calc answers and your lunch. Okay, cool, yeah. Deal. Marcus became this bladder broker of sorts. "Hey bro, you never pee, right?" "No, just once before school and once at night." "I'll buy your credits off you." He would either trade these credits or sell them to students who were having an emergency for a massive markup. Now the crazy part is, he began trading, buying, and selling these credits very obviously in front of teachers in the hallway, because his plan was to get caught. So when the principal did catch on, "Marcus, I know what you're doing." "Oh, you do you? You cannot be trading, buying, or selling these bathroom credits." "Well, what are you gonna do about it, huh? Oh, well, you're gonna get in big trouble. No, you're not, because listen up. You got a few options here. You can punish me, but then I'll go to the school board, tell them that you're charging students $5 to use the bathroom. Or you can let me continue and do nothing about it. Or your last and honestly best option, get rid of the credit system. It's a human rights violation, you frickin' idiot. Out of my office now. By the next morning, the bathroom credit system was gone. And honestly, it was all thanks to Marcus. This kid had a fish allergy, and he always told his mom, "Mom, I can't eat fish, I'm allergic." And he's not like die allergic, but if he has fish, he'll get sick. Headaches, vomiting, but his mom refuses to believe him. "No, you're not. Eat the fish." She would force him to eat the fish, saying that he's not allergic, and then when he does eat it and gets sick, she gets annoyed. "Oh my God, you're dramatic. Clean up after yourself." Well, one night, the mom's hosting a big dinner party. This kid is 9 years old. Everybody's eating. His mom hands him a fish fillet in front of all the guests. "Here you go, sweetie. Eat this. Let me know how it is." "Mom, I told you I can't eat fish." "That's not true. That's not true, everybody. Eat the fish." That's when the kid realized, okay, I'm gonna eat the fish. He eats the fish. Everybody's watching. 10 minutes later, he walks back into the kitchen. "Oh, did you like the fish? You want more, I bet, huh?" "No, Mom, I..." Pukes all over the mom and the table. The guests are shocked. "Oh my God, clean up an aisle fish." "Milk." Now you can see it in the mom's face. She wants to explode. Kid's like, "Do it, Mom. Everyone will see who you really are." But the mom can't. Not in front of all her guests. So she flips. "Oh, my poor baby, I think you are allergic to fish. Let me go put you to bed." She then takes him upstairs and tucks him in and joins the party again. And from that day on, she never made him eat fish ever again. Hey, kid's a genius. His name was Frog Boy, and he was the weird kid at this one school. Froggy, Huggy Wuggy. Every single day before class, he would be in the woods behind the school, catching frogs, lizards, and raising tadpoles in a Home Depot bucket. Grow, little tadpoles. Grow into frogs. And every day he would walk into class smelling like pond water. Yo, Frog Boy smells extra froggy today. But in class, he would have so much pent-up energy. He couldn't sit still, and every single teacher knew this. "Kevin, why don't you go take a lap around the school, okay?" "Okay." They would often let him leave school and run around the building and come back to tire himself out. In different classes, other kids would be doing math, and they would look out the window to see Frog Boy running by. 2 + 2 is 6. He would also just do crazy stuff. Like one week, he super glued all the woodshop tools to the wall. It's a masterpiece. My tools! Another week, he went into the kitchen and spread flour everywhere. Looks like it snowed in here. My kitchen! And it was like that for a long time. Well, fast forward years later. One of his old classmates is at home scrolling through his phone when he stumbles on a viral motocross clip. Yo, that's sick. It's a clip of a guy on a dirt bike going off this huge ramp and doing a backflip. That's when the old classmate realizes, wait, that's frickin' Frog Boy! Frog Boy was now a professional motocross rider, and he was very rich. I'm just happy he used his energy for something awesome like that. Hey, go Frog Boy. This teacher had a secret drawer. When this guy was in 7th grade, his teacher did this weird thing. She had one drawer in her desk that she never opened. She'd grab pencils, papers, even her coffee mug from all the other drawers, but that one drawer, she would never touch. One day while she was out sick, that class had a substitute. And in the middle of a lesson, that sub needed a stapler. I need a stapler, okay. So she went over to the desk and started opening drawers. Grabbed a few things, and then she got to the forbidden drawer, and she opened it. Well, the students noticed her open this drawer. What is this? Inside the drawer was a McDonald's bag, perfectly intact. The sub went into the bag and pulled out a medium-sized McDonald's fry. What in the world? It looked normal, like it was just bought yesterday. How long has this been in there? I don't know, miss, but honestly, I would leave it. And she did. She put that right back in the drawer and closed it. The next day, the teacher was back, and everybody was dying to know what was up with those french fries. I hope you guys had a great day yesterday. Yes, I'm feeling much better. Hey, miss? Oh, yeah, Carlos. Why do you have McDonald's fries in your drawer? The teacher just smirked. Because they never rot. I bought them 5 years ago. 5 years? Holy crap. The class was horrified. But they look completely normal. Exactly. That's why I keep them. It's my little experiment. Food should not look like that after 5 years. In that class for the rest of the year, whenever somebody brought up McDonald's or talked about food in general, she would pull out those 5-year-old McDonald's fries, just to make a point how bad fast food is for you. After class one day, a teacher tells him, "Tomorrow I need you to come to my office hours." "Oh, like right after school?" "Yes." And he's actually excited. At home, he tells his mom, "I got a thing for class tomorrow after school." He tells her it's office hours, and he thinks it's a party. "Ooh, office hours, that sounds fun. Let's go to Costco, we'll have you get some cookies to bring." So they go to Costco, she buys some cookies, chips, some plates. Next day after school, he's walking down the hallway with a plastic bag full of these snacks, and he's excited. He knocks on the teacher's door, smiling, and he goes in. "I didn't know how many people were coming, so I brought extra." "What?" She looks at the food, looks at him. "What are you talking about?" "Office hours." She closes the door quietly and says, "We're here to talk about your failing grade." It's not a party?" "No." He sits down, defeated. He talks to the teacher, and they have a plan to fix his failing grade. And as he's about to leave, "All right, well, thanks. I guess I should go do my homework." And wait! I can't let you waste all the food. Let's bring out the cookies and the chips. Let's have a little party, just us two. Okay. And for the next 15 minutes, they sat there and ate cookies and chips and just chatted like two human beings. And then he went on his way. Hey, actually, that's a good teacher. My name is Mike, and today's my first day at a new school. Oh, I forgot to mention I'm a bully, and I plan to be the biggest bully here. Are you a bully? Yeah, are you? Yeah, today's my first day. I'm Mike. Hey, I'm Chad. Nice to meet you, man. So, who's easy pickings around here? I love to bully that guy. How about that dude? That's Kyle. I wouldn't bully him if I were you. It's not worth it. Yeah, right, it's always worth it. I'm gonna bully him right now. Hey, loser. Who are you? I'm Mike. I'm the new bully here, and I'm gonna make your life a living hell. Oh, really? Just like how you make your parents' life a living hell? Oh, I'm sorry, should I say parent? I'm sure your mom doesn't even know who your dad is. Wait, what? You donkey-looking, big-head, hat-wearing fool. I bet you eat cereal with water because your dad never came home with the milk. You suck, man. Well, you suck more. For less. I told you, bro. I miss my old school. So this girl had just turned 16 years old, and all she wanted was a simple birthday dinner. Not a party, no gifts, just one dinner with her family. Her parents promised, "Oh, of course, sweetie, we'll go out tonight anywhere you want. Any place at all." I'm so excited. Thank you. She was so excited. She got dressed up, picked out a restaurant, and waited for them to be ready. Except they weren't ready at all. They kept saying stuff like,
Just a minute, honey. We're finishing something, sweetie. Just 1 minute.
She was frustrated, but she tried to be patient. So she stopped rushing them, because surely when they were ready, they would tell her. Well, an hour passed, then 2. Finally, she walked downstairs, and she saw her family eating takeout in the living room without her. What's going on? "Oh, hi, honey. We got really busy, so we decided just to order in. You can have some if you want." It's pretty good. Yeah, it's really good. She just stood there. They could have cared less about her birthday dinner. And the worst part is they didn't even realize how much this hurt her. She felt humiliated. So without saying a word, she went into her mom's purse, took out some cash, put her coat on, and walked out the door. Luckily, the restaurant was pretty close to her house, so she walked there. She walked to that restaurant alone, without her family, because, well, you know, she gets in, she sits down, she orders her favorite meal. The server was really nice. So, how was everything? It was really good. Thank you so much. Are you celebrating anything? Yeah, it's actually my birthday. Oh my gosh, happy birthday! I got something for you, 1 sec. The waiter walks away and comes back with a tiny cake and a candle in it. She was flattered. This was the nicest someone's been to her all day. A few minutes later, she asked for the check. The waiter said, "Oh, don't worry, you're all good. This lovely couple over here paid for you." Happy birthday. Happy birthday. She was almost brought to tears. That moment meant more to her than anyone would ever know. Well, she then went home, went to bed, and didn't say a word to her family. But from that day on, she stopped expecting anything from them. And on her next birthday, she didn't even tell her family that it was her birthday at all. Her family didn't even remember anyway. That's messed up. This petty principal sucks. One day at this high school, a student came into class 10 minutes late. It was first period. He was still rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Well, the principal just so happened to be doing classroom check-ins that morning. In that classroom. "You're late, Anthony. Why?" "I missed the bus. I ran here. I'm so sorry." "Not good enough. Come with me." She pulls him out in the hallway and just starts laying into him, but she didn't close the classroom door, so that entire class was watching, like, what the heck? You think the world's gonna care? You show up late to a job, you're done. You show up late to college, they drop you. Life's not gonna babysit you, Anthony. Anthony stays quiet. Then she says, maybe if you got your life together, you would stop showing up late. That's when Anthony finally let loose. You want to talk about getting my life together? I get up at 5 a.m. to get my little brother ready for school because nobody else will. I pack his lunch, I make sure he eats, I try to make the bus, but if I miss it, I run here as fast as I can. So don't stand there and talk to me like I'm just some lazy kid. No, you want to lecture somebody? Why don't you start with yourself? At least I'm showing up and still doing something that matters. I'm not just clocking in for a paycheck and going home to a life I hate. If being a bitter old hag was a subject, you'd be an A+ student. Now get out of my face. Dead silent classroom, dead silent hallway. One student in the classroom whispered, "Ain't no way she's coming back from that. Ain't no way." From that day on, Anthony was a legend, and the principal, well, she stopped doing classroom check-ins in that class. Good for him. This teacher had the weirdest rule. So this kid, let's call him David. He was in middle school, and this one teacher had a lot of weird rules, but one rule stood out to be the most weird. At the end of every class, students were required to shake this teacher's hand before leaving. Every single day. It didn't matter if you were sick, your hands were sweaty, or you were holding all your books, you had to shake this teacher's hand. And now David, like a lot of others, thought that this was the dumbest rule ever. Like, why is this even a thing? Creep. Well, one day, he decided to test it. Alright, class is over, the bell rings, everyone's lining up to shake this person's hand like he's the dang president. When it got to David, he just walked right past. "Excuse me, David." "Yeah? What do you think you're doing, man?" I'm leaving, man." "Not until you follow the rule like everybody else." "I'm not shaking your hand, you weird..." The whole class goes silent. The teacher, fuming. He walks to the door and he blocks it. "Well, if that's the case, you're not leaving, you weird..." Now David's stuck. He can't just leave, and the entire class is watching this entire thing go down. David sighs. He slowly reaches out his hand. Fine. Goes in for a handshake. That's right. Now as their hands are about to touch, David inhales and fakes a ginormous sneeze. Spit goes all over this teacher's face. Everybody just get out of the classroom now. Just go. The next day, the rule was gone. I guess the teacher tried talking to the principal, but the principal told him that it was kind of creepy in the first place to make all your students shake your hand before leaving class. I agree. This kid got blamed for something he didn't do. This one day at this one high school, during their free period, a kid was eating lunch outside by the football field, while a couple of students were kicking and throwing around a football. This kid, let's call him Steven, was sitting nearby. He wasn't playing, he was just eating his lunch. Suddenly, go long! Crash. One of the football players accidentally threw the football at the school window and it shattered. A teacher comes sprinting out of the building. "Hey yo, who threw that?" Everyone's frozen. Then one kid pointed to Steven. It was him. He kicked it. What? I wasn't even playing. But the teacher was already on the walkie-talkie. "You got a broken window. Student responsible has been identified." Come with me. Steven is dragged to the office. They pull up security footage, but the camera angle cuts off right before the area where Steven was eating and they were playing, so it was useless. So, they just take the other kid's word for it. Steven gets 2 days of in-school suspension, and he has to pay $147 to fix the window. And the worst part? 2 weeks later, the kid that blamed him brags about it in the locker room. "Yeah, I just didn't want to get in trouble and Steven was sitting there anyway. It was perfect." One kid heard it, went to the office to tell the principal. You'd think they would apologize, right? Nope. They just said, "Yeah, well, the case has already been handled. It's done, so nothing to do about it now. But thanks for letting me know, man." And that's the dumbest reason I've seen anybody get into trouble ever. Justice for Steven, man. That ain't right. One day in middle school, this kid was in math class, completely bored out of his mind. So instead of reviewing the packet he was given, he was doodling a picture in his notebook. He was sketching a cartoon of that teacher. Weird haircut, holding a ruler like it's a sword. I mean, it was kind of brutal, but it was funny. Well, suddenly the teacher walks by and she sees it. "Is this supposed to be me?" "No." She snatches the paper, holds it up like it's evidence. "Think this is funny? Office, now." He's like, yep, I'm done for. Detention for sure. He walks down to the principal's office, nervous. He gets in there and he hands the principal the picture that he drew of his teacher, expecting the worst. The principal stares at it, silent for a second, and then... he bursts out laughing. Okay. Alright, first of all, man, this is spot on. Kudos to you. Second of all, I've been telling her to fix her hair for 3 years. Really? Oh, yeah. Hey, pass me that red marker. Okay. He takes the red marker and draws flames behind her in the picture. Boom. Now it's art. I'm gonna keep this, alright? For me. Go to class, man. You're good. Oh. Alright. No detention, no punishment, just a really cool interaction with a super cool principal. That's awesome. This story's hilarious. When this girl was little, for some reason, she thought sneezing was hilarious. The scene in Beauty and the Beast where Belle's dad sneezes in his workshop and dust flies everywhere, she loved it. She would rewind it and watch it over and over again. Well, one day, when she was in kindergarten, she somehow found out that a student who was in first grade was very allergic to pollen. So she had an idea. Every day at recess, she would go outside, pick a handful of dandelions, and chase her around the playground. Come here, come here. No. And when she would get close enough, she would shove the dandelions in this girl's face. Well, it got to a point where one day at recess, she was chasing her around with dandelions as usual. But this time, the reaction was more than a sneeze. She was sent to the hospital. And from that day on, whenever she wanted to watch someone sneeze, she would just go on YouTube. Well, this principal had a secret. This person said that back in 8th grade, there was a principal named Mr. Reynolds. And Mr. Reynolds was way too intense. He had this whole no phones in school rule, but he took it to a weird level. If he even saw the outline of your phone in your pocket, he would stop you in the hallway. Give it to me. No, I'm not even using it. Doesn't matter, you know the rules. And the worst part, he'd keep it locked in his office until the end of the day. And if it was like the 3rd or 4th time he had to take your phone away from you, your parents would have to come in and get it. So absolutely just crazy. Well, this one girl, let's call her Ashley. She had had enough. He took her phone one day for checking the time during lunch. Give me that! I'm literally checking the time. You know the rules. So the next day, she told her older brother, who was already graduated but still had friends at the school. And he came up with a plan. Got you, sis. That weekend, Ashley's brother made a fake email address, pretending to be from the school's IT department. And he sent an email to the school board, saying there was suspicious activity coming from the principal's computer. Send. Take that, Mr. Reynolds. Now, he was just trying to make Mr. Reynolds' life a living hell. He didn't think anything of it, really. Just to mess with him real bad. But on Monday, an actual person from the school district showed up at that school. Turns out, Mr. Reynolds had a handful of students' phones backed up on his computer. He found out how to bypass passcodes, and some of them didn't even have passcodes, so he was just uploading stuff to his computer. Text messages, photos, everything. A complete invasion of privacy and super, super creepy. And he was fired on the spot. So Ashley's brother, trying to prank the principal, turned out to be something that actually needed to happen. This dude was messed up. No goodbyes, just walked out the building while the students watched. Get a life, loser! Screw you, Mr. Reynolds! You're a freaking creep! Bye! Ashley got her phone back, and the students got a principal that actually cared about them. A secret he'll take to the grave. When this guy was a kid, his school had this huge field day event that they did every single year. Basically, on this day, students were free to roam around the school, there were games, prizes, it was incredible. Everyone looked forward to it, but one year, everything changed. On field day, he was grabbing some lunch in the cafeteria. He was messing around with a friend when they saw a little basket of butter packets. He picked it up, put it on the floor, and stepped on it. Well, when he stepped on it, the packet popped, and the butter shot across the lunchroom like a rocket, sliding on the floor. Dude, that was sick. Let's do it again. They kept stepping on these butter packets one after another, launching the butter across the floor and giggling to themselves. Hee hee hee, this is so fun. Right? Well, apparently all this butter had accumulated some feet in front of them in this kind of butter pile. And a teacher, who was carrying a tray, ended up walking right over it. I love field day. This is a great day. He crashed down hard and his tray of food went everywhere. Another teacher ran over. Oh my god, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. He was not okay. Something was seriously wrong. An ambulance was called, and he was shipped out. Well, apparently, this teacher was injured really badly. It was serious. Field day was shut down then and there. And the next day, the principal got on the intercom. Attention, students! Due to an unfortunate incident, field day will be canceled indefinitely. We are launching an investigation into the events of yesterday's lunch. And that's when it hit him. Because of their stupid butter pack launching lunchtime, field day was canceled. What does that mean for next year? Well, I'll tell you what it means. There wasn't a field day next year. Or the year after that. He was never caught for what he did. And I guess the cameras in the lunchroom didn't pick up on this at all. This guy said that when he was around 7 years old, he would always wander off in stores. Target, Walmart, the mall, he'd see something he liked and he would just vanish. Well, one day, his dad was kind of sick of this, so he pulled him aside and said, "Hey son, you know what happens to kids who get lost in stores, right?" "What?" "Sometimes if their parents don't find them fast enough, the store keeps them." When this kid heard that, he was definitely starting to freak out a little bit. "What do you mean keeps them, Dad?" "If you're caught in a store looking lost, they'll snatch you up and bring you to the back room, where they'll make you fold clothes and pack boxes. See how the store's always stocked? Those are the lost kids that did that." "Are you serious?" After that, he never left his dad's side ever again. Not once. He didn't even go to the bathroom by himself until he was in middle school. He's much older now. He knows it was a lie. But even today, as he walks through stores, he still feels that pit of anxiety deep down in his stomach. But hey, at least he never got lost. This kid got life advice from a guy eating string cheese. This kid was 14. He was having a rough week. He was failing a class, his friends were acting super weird. He had just gotten into a fight with his mom who said, "You know what, why don't you take a walk and don't come back till you figure yourself out." Oof, tough break. So he left. He went to a park and sat on a bench. Just sitting there, staring at a duck that looked as lost as he felt.
Quack, quack, quack.
Then this guy walks by, mid-30s, fishing hat on and a pole in hand, and he was eating string cheese. But he was eating it like a menace, not peeling it, just munching right into it. The guy slows down and goes, "Hey, you good?" This kid doesn't answer, he just shrugs. The guy nods like he gets it, and he says, "Cool. Just remember this, most stuff doesn't make sense when you're in it, but it will later. So don't quit until it starts to make sense, alright?" This guy takes one last bite of his string cheese, throws the wrapper in the trash, and adds one last thing. Also, learn to cook one thing really well. That's important. That kid never saw that guy ever again. But he went home, and he made scrambled eggs. And honestly, they weren't that bad. Respect to that guy. It was week 2 at summer camp. One kid realized the lake wasn't just for swimming. It was for business. He dragged a canoe down to the dock, and instead of just paddling around, he offered rides. And these weren't just regular canoe rides. He called them customized canoe experiences. The first customer was a kid trying to impress his crush. The canoe kid cleans the canoe, he pulls out a Bluetooth speaker, puts on love songs, throws down blankets as seat cushions, and hands them a pack of Twizzlers. Boom. $10 romantic canoe ride. This is nice. I like canoes. The next ride was a totally different vibe. 2 kids wanted to skip rocks in the middle of the lake. The canoe kid plays rap music and brings a bunch of flat rocks in a bucket. He takes them out there and lets them go wild. Boom, $10. Soon he's offering packages. There was the silence special for the kids that were fed up with their bunkmates. Soft music, calm paddling, and no talking for 20 minutes. It was like a meditation on the lake. And these customized experiences were spreading like wildfire. Everybody wanted to get a trip on this magical canoe. And by the end of camp, he made a pretty decent chunk of money. And the kids loved the service he provided. So yeah, you gotta respect the hustle. So this kid had the biggest yard in the entire neighborhood. It's the yard that people always ended up hanging out at. But one summer, he had a bigger idea. He thought about those giant music festivals and how much money they make, and he thought, why not try to have one in my backyard? So first he held auditions. Bands, comics, magicians, whatever. Bring your instruments, bring your tricks, just show me what you got. And the best acts got a spot on the lineup. He built a stage out of stacked wood pallets and plywood. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. A friend brought an amp, some dude brought a microphone, it was all coming together. At the front gate of his yard, he had 2 friends working security. $10 a ticket. And inside, hot dogs and soda for $2 each, and his dad manned the grill. That night, the whole frickin' neighborhood showed up. Parents, kids, even people he didn't know. And the band was crushing it. Folding chairs around the bonfire, people dancing to the music. It was a beautiful sight. By the end of the night, they had made a really good amount of money. And he thought to himself, I'm gonna put this money towards doing it again next year. And that's exactly what he did. The next year, it happened again. Bigger and better. And he kept doing it. It wasn't just a big party. It became a tradition for the entire neighborhood. And they loved it. You gotta respect the hustle. This bully got smoked. So there's this kid named Mateo. He's super nice, he's quiet, and he always walks around in these old, beat-up New Balance shoes. And then there's Jackson, super loudmouth, and he wears these $600 limited edition Nikes that everyone compliments. Hey, yo, check the drip. Nice shoes, Jackson. Thanks. Now, normally, Mateo ignores Jackson because Jackson's constantly making fun of Mateo's shoes. But one day in gym, Mateo had enough. Jackson was like, bro, you're still wearing those nasty-ass crusty shoes? You're probably super poor, you freaking idiot. Everyone laughs. Mateo doesn't. Because here's the secret. Mateo is a walking sneaker encyclopedia. He can spot a pair of fake sneakers from a mile away. And nobody knew this about him. And Jackson, those $600 shoes, Mateo's known for months that those are fake. And he's kept quiet because he's a nice guy. Until now. When the class is doing laps around the gym, Mateo sneaks out and heads to the locker room. He opens Jackson's locker because, of course, he never locks it. And he walks out to the gym floor holding the shoes like evidence. Everybody, yo, dude, those are my shoes. Since y'all want to talk about my shoes, let's talk about Jackson's shoes. He pulls out his phone and he begins comparing pictures of fake shoes to the ones that Jackson has, and they line up. So this is a fake. Look at Jackson's. See that stitching? That's fake. Look at the logo. It's completely off. It's in the wrong font. Look at the sole of the shoe. Completely discolored. These are only worth $25. Everyone's like, what? Dude? So you're a frickin' fraud then, huh, Jackson? No, I mean, yes. I mean, no. Bro, you can't clown people for their shoes when you're wearing frickin' replicas. I paid more for my New Balances than you did for those fakes. And from then on, nobody made fun of Mateo's shoes ever again. Man, yeah, legend. This family thought chairs make you lazy. So they were forced to always stand when they were eating. Breakfast, standing at the counter. Lunch, standing around the island. Dinner, standing around the table with the entire family. And they were supposed to eat fast. They were trying to be efficient, I guess. Once they were done, they would clean their plates and they would move on. Well, this kid grew up this way and he never questioned it. Why would he? That's how he thought meals worked. Then he's at his friend's house for dinner one night. And he's confused. He's standing there. The dad's like, you can sit down, buddy. What are you doing? Okay. So he sits. They talk. They laugh. They linger and they eat their food at their own pace. He's like amazed. You good, bro? Yeah, this is just different. In a good way. He realized that his family was the weird one. Like a lot of these stories, this happens. After dinner, he goes back home and he goes to his room and cries because, what? He's been standing for every single meal, eating as fast as he can, being super stressed out because his parents are crazy. But actually, you can just sit there and enjoy your food and be with people and laugh. For the first time in his life, he was relaxed during a meal, and that meant a lot to him. Now, it's years later, and sometimes when he's stressed, he finds himself standing and eating, but he always tries to breathe, take a seat, and just enjoy those dang potatoes. She's on her first date at this guy's place, and he's cooking dinner. What's for dinner? Food. Now his place has this rustic cabin vibe. Wooden floors, dim lights. There's a weird smell that she noticed, but she thinks it's just an old house. I'm noticing a weird smell. It's probably because it's an old house. Well, at that moment, this guy's dog walks into the room and just unloads a 30-second pee right in the middle of the floor. She's trying to get his attention. Stop. No, your dog, He's peeing. He doesn't turn around, he just says, oh yeah, he does that sometimes. Well, then she asks if there's a towel she can help him clean up the pee. Since you're cooking, I can clean it up. But he says this, nah, you can just leave it. I'll spray some Febreze on it later, let it dry by itself. And that's when it hits her. The smell wasn't the cabin. That soft spot on the floor wasn't just old wood. It was the dog's bathroom. And dogs sometimes pee inside, but he never cleaned his dog's pee up. He just put Febreze on it. She politely sat there and ate dinner. Then she leaves and never texts him ever again. That's nasty. This guy went to a friend's house for dinner. Everything was chill until the milk came out. It was a really big family. They were at the table. It was loud. Every single person there gets a glass of milk. And milk for you, 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 milk for me. Bruh. Well, then it starts getting weird. The dad reaches over and grabs his son's milk. Hey son, let me see your cup. I'm done with mine. And he pours his leftover milk into his son's cup. Then the mom decides she's done with her milk, so she pours her milk into her daughter's cup. And this just keeps going. When everyone decides they're done drinking milk, they pour it into somebody else's cup. So like milky backwash just rotating through everybody. Now the guest, he's just like, what is going on here? If someone finishes their milk and they want more, I want some more milk, mom. Oh, that's perfect. I'm done with mine. I'll give you it. She just pours it into his cup. At this house, milk does not get wasted. It does not get poured down the sink. It gets recycled. And if everybody at the table is done with their milk, but there's still milk in the cups, they pour that milk back in the carton. And my friends, that is absolutely disgusting. In elementary school, this guy had one friend. I have one friend. It's me. The thing is, this kid got bullied a lot. So whenever his friend hung out with him at school, his friend would also get bullied. Dude, whenever I hang out with you, your bully also bullies me. I know, I'm sorry. So they made a rule. They wouldn't hang out at school. They wouldn't hang out at recess. They weren't friends in class. They only hung out after school where nobody could see them. That's messed up. So at school, this kid was pretty much alone. Well, one day during recess, a popular kid asked him if he wanted to kick a ball around. Hey bro, you want to play kickball with me? Sure. This was completely out of nowhere. He was shocked. This never happened to him. Well, they started actually having fun. That's when the popular kid said this. Dude, this is fun, man. You're not as bad as your friend says you are. What? Turns out that kid's friend was bullying him behind his back, starting bad rumors about how bad of a guy he was, being a complete two-faced jerk. He stopped talking to his friend altogether, even after school. And he actually became pretty good friends with the popular guy. Hey, what's up, Carl? Bro, leave us alone, man. We're having a conversation. Yeah, jerk. What a horrible friend. She's 20 years old, still living at home. She's in college. That's me. She's got 5 younger siblings. Almost every single day, she is the one cooking, cleaning, and driving the kids around. In this house, that's just how it works. Well, one night she gets home late. Her class gets done at 7:30. Normally she's home by 8, but on this day she stayed to talk to the professor a bit. No big deal, right? But she came home late. Walks in the house around 9:15. I cannot believe you. Her mom is super mad. The sink's full of dishes. There's no dinner. One of the kids had to be picked up from practice by somebody else. The mom says, "You are absolutely useless." Excuse me? Her feelings were obviously hurt because she is definitely not useless. She does so much for her family every single day. Well, after her mom said that, she didn't fight. She just went right to bed. The next morning, she doesn't wake anybody up like she usually does. She doesn't drive anybody to school. And she doesn't make dinner that night. And then she does it again and again and again. And the house starts failing. Dishes are piling up, laundry doesn't get done, kids are missing school. Now everybody's angry at her. This is your fault. This is your fault. Useless. Milk. She realized all these things she was doing were expected of her. And when she stopped doing it, nobody stepped up to take over. They blame her. And shortly after that, she moved out. And her family hasn't talked to her since. That's messed up. Weird things teachers made students do. One day in 6th grade, this kid got to his math class before everybody else. It was just him and the teacher for a few minutes. And he was kind of anxious. So he was sitting there kind of jittery, but minding his own business. The teacher then noticed he was jittery. And this is what she did. Hi, I want you to stand up right now, please. Okay. Now I want you to dance. Just dance right there in your spot. Just dance. What do you mean? Start dancing. Can you at least put some music on or something for me? No. And so he stood there and he was dancing. He had no idea why he was doing this, but students were walking down the hall looking at him so weird. What the heck? Can I please stop dancing now? No! And then finally the bell rang. Okay, now you can stop. Thanks. He told his parents what happened and they were super pissed. His mom went to the school the next day and chewed this teacher out in front of the principal. This kid named Matt was spending the night at his friend's house for the first time. They had been best friends since the start of the year, but he had actually never stayed at his house before. Everything was pretty normal at first. Pizza, video games, all that. Before bed, the dad walks into their room and says, "All right, boys, remember, no flushing the toilet after 10 p.m., okay?" Matt just laughs. He thinks the guy's joking. This ain't no joke, son. I'm serious. If you have to go, go, but don't flush until morning. Then he just walks out. What's that about, dude? Yeah, man, my dad's really strict about the water bill. He says flushing at night's a waste. Bro, what if I gotta dump one? You just don't, okay? Alright, weird, but whatever. Matt and this kid go to sleep. Fast forward to 2 a.m. Matt wakes up, and of course, he's gotta go to the bathroom. He tries to hold it, but it's impossible. His stomach is rumbling, if you catch my drift. But finally, he sneaks out of bed. He heads to the bathroom. He's extra quiet. He does his business and then stands up. When he stands up and looks into the toilet, he's debating. Should I flush or not? There's literal in there. He's gonna flush. This is stupid. Big mistake. Within seconds, he hears footsteps. Fast footsteps. Coming straight for the bathroom. Before he can even react, the door swings open. His friend's dad is wide awake, standing there, staring at him. Get out. Okay, I'm going back to sleep. No. Get out of my house. Alright. It was 2 a.m. He had to call his parents, wake them up, and they had to come get him. He told his parents what happened, and they never let him go to his best friend's house ever again. Sometimes teachers suck. The person that shared this story said that when she was in high school, she was one of the best art students in the school. Well, one of the assignments was that they had to design something on the computer and email it to the teacher. Well, one day in a different class, she was called down to the office.
Kayla Anderson, please come to the principal's office.
In the office was her principal, Kayla, have a seat, and her art teacher.
Hi, Kayla. Hi, what's going on? Well, I got your homework that you emailed, the graphic design project. Something was off, so I ran it in a reverse Google search.
Yes, and don't even try to deny this. We caught you red-handed.
What? That's impossible. I made that myself.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. Well, how come I found it on a random artist website? What is the website? Not like it matters. Read me the website. Okay, whatever. You plagiarized your project from KaylaJohnsonArt.com. Yeah, that's my website, you.
So one day in 8th grade, the school had a fire drill. Pretty normal, the alarm goes off, and the teacher lines everybody up. But this one kid, he had a plan. I have a plan. See, earlier that week, the teacher said something that gave him an idea. If there's ever a fire class, you should only take the essentials, okay? So, while everyone walked out with nothing, this kid sprinted out carrying his entire desk, chair included. He was full speed hauling it through the hallway. Hey, why are you taking your desk? Young man, what are you doing? And he just yelled back, "It's an essential!" And then outside, while the whole school stood in the parking lot, he sat down at his desk. Like it was a normal school day. He started pulling out his notebooks and he was taking fake notes. The kid was a real comedian. Everyone was dying of laughter. Teachers were too confused to even yell at him. And then when the principal finally came over and asked, "Hi, what are you doing?" He just shrugged and said, "I thought we were evacuating, so I evacuated my education." Okay. And after that, every single fire drill, someone tried to take something bigger out with them. It became this crazy thing that people were doing, until one day the principal got on the intercom and begged, "During fire drills, students, please, stop taking the furniture outside with you. Please." Honestly, that kid's a legend. One day this school had a guest speaker come for an assembly. The whole school was packed into the gym. Hundreds of students, everyone bored out of their mind. The speaker was some local business guy, and all he was going to be doing was talking about leadership and hard work. Nobody was paying attention until about 20 minutes in, a student, let's call him Kevin, stood up. "Excuse me!" The entire gym went silent. Everyone looked at him. Even the speaker stopped mid-sentence. And in a serious, confident voice, the kid says, "I have a question." Yeah, totally. What's your question?" Then Kevin, without hesitation, asked, "Would you rather fight a gorilla once a year but you get a sword? Or have to fight a chicken every time you open a door forever?" The entire gym lost it. The teachers were stunned. The speaker stood there processing. Finally, I think I'd take the gorilla. And Kevin just nodded. Respectable choice. And he sat back down. Well, as you can imagine, the entire assembly was completely derailed. For the next 10 minutes, students were arguing about the gorilla or the chicken. The gorilla's the obvious choice. I mean, what are you gonna do? Every single time you open a door, you gotta fight a chicken? I just won't open doors, you idiot. Like, that's realistic. How are you gonna go forever without opening doors? Principal finally got on the mic. Everybody shut up! And the assembly was cut short right then and there. And after that, the would you rather fight a gorilla or a chicken became the most debated question in this school's history. People were making posters and hanging them on the wall. Gorilla versus chicken. Kevin never really said anything about it after that day. But for the rest of high school, people would walk past him in the hall and just whisper, "Hey Kevin, respectable choice." And that's how he became a legend. I want to be a bird when I grow up. She was in first grade and she really wanted to be a bird when she grew up. She thought about it every single day. Well, one morning during lunch at school, she noticed these red bumps on her arms and her neck. And she whispers to herself, "It's happening. It's happening." She thought her transformation to a bird was happening right then and there, and she was sitting down preparing for feathers to pop out of her skin. She then freaks out and grabs the nearest teacher. Mrs. Johnson? Sweetheart, what is wrong? I'm just a kid. I don't want to become a bird yet. What? The teacher had no idea what that meant. I have no idea what that means. The nurse gets called. Mom gets called. Turns out she was allergic to something she ate during lunch. And it was pretty bad. She had to be rushed to the hospital. That's crazy. He got punched on purpose and his plan worked. In 7th grade, this one kid, Zach, had been dealing with this guy named Tyler for a while now. And Tyler was a piece of work. He was loud, annoying, and constantly trying to get a rise out of Zach. Well, the thing is, Zach never let it get to him. He never shouted back. He never did anything mean to him. He didn't fight. He just waited. Until one Friday at dismissal, Zach saw his way. He sees Tyler standing over there by a locker, and he decides to enact his plan. It's time. Oh, hey, yo! He walks by Tyler and softly and accidentally bumps him in the shoulder. Yo, what is your deal? Well, Tyler snaps, and all Zach does is stand there. Say something. He doesn't. And that makes him very mad. He then winds up and punches Zach right in the face. You know what, dude? Well, Zach stumbles back, throws up his hands like he's gonna fight back, but then he just says, "Time out, time out, time out. Yeah, you just punched me in the face, man. I'm not gonna fight you back, though." Everyone's like, "Yo, what? Guys, I didn't hit him, right? Huh? Look, he hit me. I didn't hit him." Security rolls up, so does the principal. "No, he bumped into me. He was gonna fight me." "No, it's a crowded hallway. I didn't even touch you. You punched me." "What happened? We were fighting. Both of us." "What happened? He punched me. I never swung." Zach didn't do anything. Tyler did. They looked at the cameras and everything checked out. Tyler was suspended for 3 days and Zach got nothing. The next day somebody asked Zach, "Yo, dude, was that your plan the entire time?" "What can I say? I played chess." And that was his way of getting back at his bully without lifting a finger. Genius. No. He was in the back of the classroom, during a boring lecture, scrolling through his crush's Instagram page. I mean, pretty risky thing to do with a crush in the class, but that's what he was doing. Well, he's years deep into her Instagram page. As he's scrolling, his thumb grazes the heart. No. He panics and he accidentally goes back. So now he's got to scroll all the way down to find this picture that he accidentally liked from 5 years ago. His brain short circuits. The school's Wi-Fi is so bad it's kind of lagging. Older posts aren't loading. No. He looks over at his crush and he sees that her notification went off and she's reaching for her phone. No. Meanwhile, during all this, his phone was at 1%, and it died. His face goes completely white. The guy next to him asks him, "Hey bro, you okay?" No, he wasn't okay. She looks at her phone. So he just gets up quickly and walks out of the room. "Gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be right back." As he walks out, he looks behind and she's looking at him. So now his crush saw that he liked a photo from years ago during class. And now he's running out of the room. He probably looks insane. But his crush saw it, so he goes to the bathroom and he sits in the stall until the bell rings. He said he was so embarrassed he didn't go to school the next day. And when he did return, yeah, he got bullied. So It started with one kid and a toaster. One day, this one kid brings a toaster to school, like an actual toaster. He plugged it into the wall outlet by the lockers and began making Pop-Tarts before first period. Morning, bro, what you doing? Oh, I'm making my breakfast. S'mores Pop-Tarts today. Is that your toaster? Absolutely. Well, this pre-class breakfast situation began to grow pretty quickly. By the next week, different groups of kids had brought in their own toaster. They were cooking up Eggos, jelly toast. People were bringing flasks of syrup. One kid brought in one of those electric flat iron stoves. Soon, every morning throughout the school, there were entire breakfast zones, each zone cooking a different breakfast item. And it was kind of awesome. These zones were behind the bleachers, in the band room, in a corner of the library. Teachers were finding pancake batter in the sinks. It was a mess. Well, quickly, the school shut it all down, but the smell of cinnamon lingered for a while. Then, my friends, on the last day of school, during morning announcements, which they always had a student do, people heard this. Oh my God. Did you guys smell that? The sound was the sizzling of bacon coming through the intercom in every room of the school, and people were beginning to smell the bacon. And right before they were able to turn off the intercom, everybody heard this. You can never take our breakfast. Long live breakfast. That kid wanted to end the year a legend, so he cooked bacon on the intercom to get back at the school for shutting down their breakfast clubs. A freezing rainstorm hits overnight. Morning comes, and every single porch on the block is a sheet of ice. People are stepping outside trying to go to work, but they're slipping all over the place. But one kid, Billy, he planned for this. He saw the winter storm warning early, so the day before he went to Home Depot and he bought 4 giant bags of ice melt with his Christmas money. And that morning at 7 a.m., he's outside in slip-proof boots, dragging a red wagon full of salt. $3, I'll melt your whole porch and driveway. $3, I'll melt it all. And the people that didn't have salt themselves, because this was a very unexpected storm, they paid him. Take my money. Oh, take my money. Milk. So he's sprinkling, he's scraping, ice is melting, neighbors are getting to their cars, other neighbors see, they want to use his service as well. Business is booming on this crazy morning. And anyone who says, I'm not paying for your salt, fine, then you can slip. Wait, come back, here. They always give in. He made some really decent money that day, and ever since then, they called him the Winter King. He was a lifesaver, and honestly, genius. Gotta respect the hustle.
তুমি অনেক ভালো একটা মাইয়া তোমার অনেক ভালো হবে
আমার মা হাসপাতালে ভর্তি ডাক্তার কইছে 2 ব্যাগ রক্ত আর 1 লাখ টাকা যদি আজকে
জন্য পাগল আর আপনি তানিয়ার জন্য পাগল
আরে জুলি এইটারে কয় ভালোবাসা আরিয়া তোমার হাতের রান্না
তোমার বড় ভাইয়ের ভালো না থাকলে এখান থেকে চলে যেতে বলো
আরে জুলি তুমি আবার কি রাইখা কি
প্রেমে ফেলতে পারো তাহলে আমি নিজে দাঁড়িয়ে থেকে তোমার আর তানিয়ার বিয়ে দেব
সারাদিন ধরে ভিক্ষা করছে আমাদের 1 লাখ টাকা আর 2 ব্যাগ রক্ত লাগবে কি করব বলো আমি তো আর প্রফেশনাল রিকশা চালক না প্রেমিক রিকশা চালক আমার তাহলে কি লিখছস কয়লান লিখছস
সে কি তোরে খুব ডিস্টার্ব করতো আরে না আরে শোন না একবার কি
আচ্ছা
ভাই আমাকে আপনার সাথে লেগে যান
কাম তোরা বুঝছি তো আমি আজকে আমার বিজয়ের দিন এখানে 100 কবিতা আছে সার্ভিসটা তো একটু আলাদা থাকবে তাই না
দেখেন আমি কলেজে যাব আমার দেরি হয়ে যাচ্ছে এসব নাটক দেখা
চাইছে আর কি ওই যে তানিয়া তো পড়াশোনা করে সন্ধ্যার সময় যদি একটু খায় মাথাটা ঠান্ডা এই এগুলা কি এই কার্ডের ভিতরে আমার মেয়ের নাম লেখা কেন এই বাইরে মনে কর পিক করতে বুঝছো ওই যে আবার বলছে
কি খবর তোমাদের? কেমন আছো তোমরা সবাই? ভালো তো না? তুমি জানো তোমার কালকে তো কতবার কল দিচ্ছি।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি রে হৃদয়, তুই মানা করতেছি।
ভাবি আপনি জানেন আমি একবার অসুস্থ হয়ে গেছিলাম, ও আমাকে রক্ত দেয়নি, আর আজকে আপনাকে রক্ত দিয়ে চিঠি লিখছে।
আমাকে বুকিং দিছে মানে আমাকে কে বুকিং দিছে দোস্ত?
তোর যে আশিক আছে না, এখন তো আমার পিছনে লাগছে।
এই এই দুলাভাই সামনে থাকলে যে সালাম দিতে হয়, আপনি শিখাই নাই তোরা? কেমন আছো তুমি?
ভালো।
আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো না রক্তটা দিবি তুই? আমি কেন রক্ত দেবো? প্রেম খরচ তুই, রক্ত
আমার বন্ধু দিছেন আপনাকে অনেক ভালোবাসি ভাবি, আপনার ওর রক্ত যাওয়াটা বিধে হতে দিবেন না ভাবি।
কেন 073421924 এটা তোমার নম্বর না?
জি জি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
ভালো নেই, আমি ভালো নেই। আমিও তোর মতোই ভাবতেছি, রক্ত যদি দিঠা যায়, এই রক্তটা
আপনার কাছে এইটা আমার লাস্ট রিকোয়েস্ট ভাবি।
আচ্ছা,
কখন আসবে তোদের ভাবেই আর ভালো লাগতেছে না আমার। সে যে কেন এলো
আসুন তো, এরপর যখন আসুন আপনার মেয়ে আমারে ডেকে নিয়ে আসুন।
পড়বি না।
আমি পড়বো মানে? আমি কি পড়তে যাওয়ার মতো মেয়ে নাকি? হ্যাঁ, তাহলে
আমি হইতেছি রিক্সা, তুমি হইতেছে এসি বাস।
মামা ভাড়া নিত কষ্ট, আমার বুকটা পাইতে গেছে, আমি অনেক কষ্ট পাইছি ভাই।
কষ্ট কোনো ব্যাপার না।
এই রিকশা,
এই ঘটনা ইতিহাস হয়ে থাকবো যে সেলিম ভাই
আরে জুলি গেছে বাইরে মনে কর পিক করতে, বুঝছো?
মিনিমাম 1700 লাইন কবিতা লাগবো। তুই 700 লিখবি। মানুষ তো মর্ডার, যে কোনো সময় মারা যেতে পারে, মারা গেলেই বাঁচি।
আমার কথার বাইরে কোনো কিছু করবি না, আর ও যদি তোকে পড়ানোর চেষ্টা করে তুই কোনোভাবে
হারামজাদা আমার মায়ের ডিস্টার্ব করে।
হ্যালো, আপনি শুধু শুধু রাগ করছেন। কই
আপনার মেয়ে যাবে না স্যার?
না, আমার মেয়ে যাবে না, আমি একা যাব। এই সেলিম, তুমি কই যাও?
মাডা মনে আর বাঁচবো না স্যার।
কস কি তোর বাড়ি কই?
স্যার
শত যে থাকবো সেও ব্যর্থ হইবে। আমি চাই না আর কেউ ব্যর্থ। মন যা চাইছে আপনি তাই করছেন, এখন আমার মন যা চায় আমি তাই করি।